Hey everybody, this is Stephen with Junior Achievement of North Florida. Wonderful to see everybody today. We have a great career speaker series coming up with Punica Bhardwaj from EY, and we have some phenomenal students from the Jacksonville area that's going to be interviewing Punica. So very first part that we're going to be getting started off with is, Punica, go ahead and introduce yourself, any personal information that you would like to share.
Hey everybody, my name is Punica Bhardwaj and I'm a consultant at EY. A little bit of a personal background for me. I am from India and I grew up in India as well. I was born and brought up there. I did my bachelor's degree from India and then I came here for my master's. So I have a master's in information assurance and cybersecurity. And my parents are doctors. So because I come from a long line of doctors, I'm the first person who's not in the medical field. I've been at EY for about 4 years now. I think my 4-year anniversary is coming up in 5 days. So and I've been in Florida for about 6 years. I came to the US in 2014. So I'm coming up on my 6 years in the US as well. And I've been in Florida the whole time.
Wow.
So, well, that's a little bit about my background and where I'm from. So I think that should cover it.
Yes, awesome. Well, thanks so much for that introduction, Punica, and we're really looking forward to getting to know you a little bit more with this career speaker series interview. So our very first set of questions is actually coming from Xavier. So Xavier, go ahead and introduce yourself, and then you can ask Punica those questions.
Hello everyone, my name is Xavier Yancey. I recently attended Jean-Brice High School. I was a part of the early college program there as well. I plan to major in physical therapy at the Florida A&M University. And I have a couple questions. My first question is, when you were in high school, did you know what you wanted to do?
Good question. And yes, I actually still want to do what I wanted to do when I was growing up. So I have always been fascinated by airplanes. So I wanted to be a commercial pilot when I grew up. But when I was growing up in India, that was not really a sound choice to make at the time because it was extremely expensive, first of all. And second of all, like it's not a very women-heavy profession. It is not, I mean, it still isn't, but at the time it wasn't. Like I grew up in the 90s. So my parents were like, if you want to become a pilot, that's good, but you also need to have an actual degree in your hand so you can have a backup to fall off on. I mean, a backup for yourself, sorry. Cannot speak today. So I still want to be a pilot, and at the time I was very mad at my parents. I was like, you know what, like you don't want me to be a pilot. You just, a typical teenage stuff. But now I realize that was a very good decision that they made, and now I have a great job that I love. But also becoming a pilot is not something that I have completely written off. I still want to be, and I feel like it's a thing that you can still do. You can go get student pilot licenses, and that's all I want. Like I don't want to fly commercially anymore, but I do want to learn how to fly. So I feel like I will do it. That's like on my bucket list. But yeah, I did not think that I would be what I am today. I didn't even know what a consultant was when I was in high school, or even when I was in bachelor's. Like I didn't know what it was until like a few years ago, till I became one. So a very different career journey that I had expected for myself, but it ended up being something completely different and so much better. So I'm very thankful about that.
And my next question would be, did you continue your education after high school? And if so, what did you major in?
Yes. So, well, because I'm from India, there is a little, the background of how education happens in India is a little different. Like over here, and that's a huge thing that I learned after I came here. I didn't even know that in India, once you finish your 12th grade, you're already like, if you right now, because of some of the prestigious institutions that we have back in India, the preparation for them starts at a middle school level. At this point, people start learning at a very, very early stage. So after you're done with your high school, it's a given that you're going to go do your bachelor's. I know some people don't do that, but that's a very, very minority, like about 98%. And those are not stats that I have confirmed, but that's just what we have seen, that everybody goes on to do a bachelor's degree. if they can afford it, or if there's some the grants that they can take or help that they can take from the society. But it is expected that everybody will get a bachelor's, and after that it's up to you, like if you want to get a job or you want to go for higher education. So I did my bachelor's in computer engineering, which again, like one of the first, because I come from a medical family. And from there I went to get and after, when I was doing my bachelor's, I realized that like now you have to find something. Computer engineering is broad, so you got to find something that you can specialize in. And in my fourth or third year, I realized that I was very passionate about computer security and cyber crimes. So I ended up getting my master's in information assurance and cybersecurity. So I have a bachelor's as well as a master's.
Okay. While you were doing your bachelor's, did you have a job?
No, I did not. And that is another thing that I realized is very different from the US. Like in India, we actually, some people do, but majority of the students, now it might have changed because I haven't been in India in about 6 years, like living there in 6 years, I just visit now. But none of my friends had any jobs in high school or in college. Like none of us did. The first jobs we all got was after we graduated. Like we had internships, but in many cases, those were unpaid internships. So the stipend was not expected or given. And it might be different in the bigger cities, but I'm from a smaller city. So that's what my perception is that none of my friends went to work. I had one who was working in like the college recruitment department, but otherwise nobody was actually working while they were in bachelor. So very thankful that my parents were able to afford the education as well as, give me my expenses because I wasn't earning.
Did you also find a job after you graduated college, like right away?
Yeah, not right away, because once I graduated college, my parents knew and I knew that I wanted to get a master's degree. So because my bachelor's is from India and I wanted to come to the US, there was a whole process that you have to go through. There's a bunch of exams that you have to give. So, but at the same time, I'm not somebody who can sit on their hands. Like I have to do something. Like summer vacations were okay, where you just not do anything and it was fine. I did some internships, but after I graduated and before I got accepted into colleges in the US, I wanted to do something. So I got a job. And at the time it was, my job had to be something that doesn't affect my studies, because I was also taking classes in the morning to prepare for my exams, to, give my admission exams. So I took a job as a recruiter. So I was working as a recruiter for about 11 months. And because it was a night job, because we were doing US recruitment, so we were working Pacific hours in India, which meant my work started at 9 p.m. So that kind of helped me kind of juggle the studies as well as the work while earning some pocket money on the side. And it wasn't a lot of money, but at the time it was a really good job, because I didn't have to ask for a lot of money from my parents. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to be a little independent after graduation. So that's what I did.
Currently, what is your role at EY and your responsibilities?
So currently, I'm a senior analyst at EY, and I work in the data and analytics practice, which means that we deal with a lot of data, and we work with the multiple different clients helping their data needs. We do a lot of analysis of their data. We try to help them solve the problems that they're having. And right now, we also do a lot of automation, because if you're working with a lot of heavy files, heavy Excel files, or any kind of a work which is very labor intensive, that requires a lot of manual work, my team's responsibility is to find ways to automate that, so that you can do a job that takes one person about a week to do. The computer can do it in say 5 minutes or 10 minutes or an hour, but it's still less than the full week that it takes. So that's where we are heading right now. That's the kind of work that we're doing. And it varies with the client that we're working on, but overall it stays, the base of it stays the same. Like we have different clients, but the work that we do is all data related, because we are in the data analytics practice.
Thank you.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Punica. It was phenomenal.
Thank you for asking those questions.
Awesome.
Really appreciate it.
All right, so our next set of questions is going to be coming from Dowensly. So Dowensly, go ahead and introduce yourself and you can ask those questions.
Hi, my name is Dowensly Jean-Brice. I previously went to Robert E. Lee High School before my graduation, class of 2020. My plans are to go to UF to major in anthropology on hopefully a pre-med path. And my first question for you, Ms. Punica, is before COVID, what did a typical day look like for you?
Well, it feels like it was years ago. So, although it was just a couple of months ago. So before COVID, we usually I would wake up early, go to do my normal, like, get ready, get my coffee, and then drive to work. I live pretty far away from work, so I was like drive to work and then just work 9 to 5, 6, 7. We don't have it set that we come back depending upon how your day is, and then just come back home and try to disconnect. So sometimes I would just turn off my computer, don't turn it on, and then have some time for myself, do my normal errands, and play with the dog after I come back. And that's pretty much what it was pre-COVID. And that's what it was. We would travel sometimes to go to the client sites. And sometimes we did Monday to Thursday travel, which is pretty common in the consulting firms. And we would fly out Monday morning, come back Thursday night. And Friday we would work from home or work from the home office, which is like the home office. So not the home, but like the home office location. So basically the Jacksonville office of EY. And that's pretty much what it was pre-COVID.
How did your weekdays, like Monday through Friday, how was it different from your weekends in a sense? Like, did you only work weekdays and then the weekends were free, or how did that work out?
Well, sometimes it depends. Mostly we work Monday through Friday, but sometimes if you have like a tight deadline that you're chasing, or you have some work that you want to do but you're not able to do Monday through Friday, because EY is a firm, and not even just EY, like because of how the world is right now, there's so many technology advancements. If you want to keep up with the technologies and you want to keep up with the world, you have to keep learning. And earlier, this used to be just, that's how I grew up. It used to be a thing that doctors had to do. Because my parents are doctors, I would always see them with these giant books at all times. They're like, in their studies, they would always study. And I'm like, what are you studying? And they're like, there's advancements in medicine happening every day, like something that we couldn't treat properly, or we had to use so many medications a few years ago. Those are changing now. So we have to keep up with the technology to make sure we're giving the best care to our patients. And I thought it was just in the medical field. But now, as you see around you, technology is changing so much. You have to keep up with it. Every day there's a new language. Every day and because we work with the different clients, every client has a different technology that they're using that we have to learn on the go. So that's what I would do on the weekends for most part. Like if I didn't have a deadline that I had to chase or a deliverable that was due, so not all weekends, but some weekends I would take some time, and I still do, to learn something that I want, like a technology that I heard on a meeting, or something that our manager said that, this is up and coming and we might want to make sure that our people know this. So if a client needs this, we can have you work with that client. So that's what I would do on the weekends. I would take some time to study, and we have a lot of, luckily, EY has a lot of resources available for us that we can use to study. So that's what I would try to do, just learn something new.
My last question is, you've previously said that you travel a lot, but how often did you travel? Like, was it like every week, or is it like once a month, or how often would you say?
Well, in the Jacksonville office, we are not expected to travel more than 25%. So I did travel. I had a few projects where I would travel. I think I traveled 6 months straight for one project, and then another 6 or 9 months straight for another. But in the last year or two, I haven't had a travel project, so I wasn't traveling all that much. I was just in the office. I was just Monday through Friday in the Jacksonville office. I wasn't traveling for the last couple months, or years actually.
And also, how has your job changed ever since COVID hit?
Well, it has changed where there's no commute time. So I think I appreciate that a little bit. But initially it was a little, well, I feel like we were still okay because again, like because we are a people services firm and we are, most of our people are consultants who are client serving, we were set up, or at least my team was for the most part, to be able to work remote. So because we don't have desktops for the most part, we all have our laptop computers, and because we were expected to travel, we could work from home even before. So there were some instances where like if I had an appointment or something, I could tell my manager that, hey, I would need to work from home, and they were like, it's okay, you can do that. They were very flexible earlier. So when we started to go remote, it wasn't that much of an adjustment for me in the beginning, because I was like, it's good. There's no commute time. But now how it has changed is that now we just work all the time. And there's just, there's days where, especially if you don't have a family or kids here, like I don't have my family here, so all I do is I work. So it becomes very difficult to kind of differentiate between stopping the work. It's like, it's enough. Like yes, you are at home and you're working from home, but like 7 p.m. means just turn the laptops off. There's so many times that our managers came up and said, the work will be there tomorrow, just turn it off. And that kind of becomes a little difficult. Like the line kind of, it's very thin and kind of fades when you're just at home at all times. So it's a little difficult to differentiate and just disconnect from work. So and I think we were set up, so it helped us. And also EY did a lot of adjustments for us, where they let us buy monitors where we could just set up our workstations at home, because a lot of people didn't have that. I still don't have it. So I have a monitor now, which really helped with the work. And I think the firm's been really good with being flexible with us and helping us we are also doing some fitness challenges. So it helps people move around a lot, because we are sitting straight for so many hours. So with the commute time going down, it's like you're stuck in there are days I don't even get up from my desk, which is not good. So yeah, that's how it has changed. But work-wise, I feel like it's been the same. At least for me personally, it's been the same. The work hasn't affected us. My work has stayed pretty much the same. That was a very long answer, but I think I hope I covered everything.
It was a great question. Thank you so much for those questions, Dowensly. And our final set of questions is going to be coming from Hazel. So Hazel, go ahead and introduce yourself and ask your questions.
Hi, I'm Hazel Hanis. I recently graduated from Douglas Anderson School of the Arts High School. Currently, I'm enrolled in FSEJ, and I'm planning to be a registered nurse. So that's about me. My questions for you, Punica, are how have you and your company had to be innovative during this time?
I think thank you for that question. That's a really good question. Again, because I feel like EY is really big, or not even just EY. I feel like every firm right now is very big with innovation. So we have to adapt with things that are changing so rapidly and so fast. So I feel like the one advantage that EY had is because we don't have a lot of people who use desktop computers, and majority of the firm is using laptops. So at least technology-wise, we were able to start working from home, and the work still kept going on because you can take your laptop home and you have your VPN connections that the firm has, and it was seamless. Like we were able to use it pretty well, and the work continued on. And I think the best, and not the best thing, but one of the good things that they did is that they allowed people to purchase monitors who needed help with that, and they were very flexible with us on how we want to work from home. And we had a lot of meetings happening at the larger firm level, like the highest level of the firm, having a check-ins with the respective teams and helping everybody through the pandemic, and also telling us to take care of ourselves. And there was a lot of push from the higher management to help us divide the time, where they were like, you have to stop working after certain points. They came up with a lot of fitness challenges as well, where they were like, if you it was like 10,000 steps every day, or a couple of steps every day that everybody had to do, some activity that everybody had to do, that motivates the people to stay fit, move around, do your work, but also take some time for your mental and physical health, which I feel like that's one of the best things that I've thought was really great, that they were really not forcing us, but really encouraging us to be physically and emotionally healthy as well, and not just keep working at all times. And there were a lot of catch-ups that were being set up as well, like a few coffee chats, or a few team meetings, just to encourage people. Because in my case, I have a roommate, I have a dog, so even being inside the house, it wasn't that bad. But there were a lot of people who were stuck in their houses, away from their families, and they were quarantining here, and they were living alone. So it's very emotionally draining, and it's very mentally draining, and then you're working all the time. So I feel like the firm tried their best that people don't feel isolated, even though this is a very isolating situation. And they provided us with the technology that we need. So luckily, we haven't had any technology issues, even though the entire firm all over the world is working remote. And so I think the little initiatives that happen throughout the firm has helped the people a lot. And they've been very vocal and open with us about what is happening at their level, and like how they're helping with the pandemic, and helping us understand how we are going to go back to the office, and what their approaches are. So, and they also, one of the things that I really appreciated is that they sent us a care package, which had a few masks in, a hand sanitizer, a little thermometer. So that was a really nice gesture, and we really appreciated that. So yeah, that's what they've done other things as well, but these are the ones that come to mind.
Thank you for that answer. Why do you think it's necessary to remain innovative?
I think I kind of answered this along the way when I was answering the other questions. So I think the main thing is that you have to keep up with the market, you have to keep up with the technology, because if you don't, you will become obsolete. So you have to, your people have to be trained up and available, learning the resources that are available in the market right now. So in order to keep up with the changing world and the changing technology, you have to keep being innovative, and you have to keep bringing out products that are used in the world. Like you cannot do development on a phone which is 5 years old. You have to understand what the new phone that is coming out, and how do you make your apps for that particular phone, or how you're going to reach the public that's using that new device that wasn't there a few years ago. So for you to work with that, you need to keep up with how the device is built, or what technology it's going to use, what app you have to write that works on that phone. So I feel like if you're not innovative, you're not going to be here for very long. So that's why innovation is so important.
What do you hope people learn out of this temporary change in our world, or known as our new normal?
That's a good question. I think there's so many lessons that need to be learned from here. But I think the biggest lesson that we should learn is that not the biggest, but one of the lessons I think it should be is that everything can change in like a minute. Nobody expected that this can happen, that the world will literally come to a standstill and you wouldn't be able to leave your house or visit your family. That was an eye-opening situation for me, because I don't live around my parents. Like if I have to go to my parents, it takes at least 48 hours for me to get there. And I just never thought that there will be a situation where I just wouldn't be able to go, because all the airspace, like I think I can go now, but the airspaces were closed for a very long time. I couldn't get a ticket to go to India if something had happened. So I think you need to be very aware that life can change in a second, and you need to, love your loved ones, make sure that you're living in the moment, don't put things off for a long time. Just if you want to do something, do it. When you can, just do it. Don't think long term that I'll get there and I'll do it, because life can change in a second. And you also have to realize that a lot of the things can be like you can do a lot of things from your home as well. So, like anybody who said before that you cannot work from home, or you have to, it's your work will not get done. I feel like a lot of people are realizing now that you don't have to go to the office every day to be able to do your work. You can work from home. You can be with your family. You don't have to, you can still work the same hours, but a lot of people couldn't spend a lot of time at home because they were working such longer hours and they were not at home doing those hours. Now you can at least be with your family, where you can grab lunch with your family, So I think everybody needs to learn to put their families first and put their own physical and mental health first. And the work will still be there, and everybody needs to work as well. But don't just make work your life. Otherwise, you will forget to live your life. So I think that's something that we should learn from COVID. Yeah. And don't pollute the environment as well, because if you do that, Mother Earth will fix it herself. So I feel like every time we've been inside for so long, the planet has actually seen less emissions, and a lot of cleanliness is happening from their end. So yeah.
What are some positive things you've seen come out of these times?
I think the first thing is the carbon emissions. I think the planet is getting cleaner, and the pollution has gone down, especially in the countries where there was a lot of air pollution. It has gone down because less cars on the roads, and less carbon footprint, because a lot of people who traveled 70 to 80% of the times are not traveling anymore. There's like less air traffic, which is not good for the airline industry, but it is good where it's helping the planet. So I think that's and another thing that's pretty good is that a lot of people got to spend a lot of time with their families, and I think that's a positive, where like you're able to see those your kids growing up. Like, it's not the case with me because my family is back in India, but a lot of people are able to do that. So I think that's a positive as well. And a lot of people realize that the jobs can be done from home, and it also gave you like an insight into who really is on your side, who really wants your well-being. And a lot of firms have done that. Like they've really helped their people. Like EY has helped us a lot. So I feel like they really care about their people, and we already knew that, but after how they handled the whole situation, it really helped us. We are very thankful to the firm that we work in, like who sends care packages. So that was a really nice gesture. So I think that's a few things that I can think of. I'm pretty sure there's so many others, but that's what I can think of.
Thank you for your responses.
Thank you for asking those questions. I hope I was able to answer them in a good way.
You did.
Awesome. Well, Punica, thank you so much. And this is an opportunity, if you have any final words of wisdom and anything that you want to share, is there anything that you would like to share in the final part of the interview?
Well, I think spend time with your family, do what you want to do, and live in the moment. Don't live all of that in the moment. Like, don't do bad things. But if there's something that you want to do, make sure that you spend some time on it, work towards your goal, and do it. Don't say that I'll do it when I grow up. I don't think you ever grow up. I'm gonna be in my 30s soon, and I don't think I've grown up yet either. So just do what you want to do, and continue on your education. Learn what you want to learn. If like you want to be a registered nurse, that is awesome, and you want to do physical therapy and anthropology, just make sure that you never stop learning. And there are so many courses available online. You just got to make sure that you are aware of what technology you have. If you want to learn programming, or you want to do, you hear everybody talking about coding and this language and that language, there are so many courses available. You don't even have to pay for it. Just do an introductory class or anything, and always have a backup in your hand. Like, should something happen, you should always have a backup. I feel like the fields that you guys are going in, those are always going to be there. We're always going to need physical therapists. We're always going to need people in the healthcare industry. But it's always good to have a backup. So always have backups, have mentors that will help you guide through your career. If you are ever in a situation where you don't know who can help you, like your parents or your guardians are in a different background than you. They cannot help you with your job. But you still need mentors in your life who don't have to be doing the same things that you're doing. And mentors take you to a lot of places because sometimes you just need somebody to help you out. And I've been lucky that I've had those mentors. And you work with JA, so I'm pretty sure you have a lot of them too. But yeah, that's a few things that help. And never give up on your dreams. I'm gonna be private pilot one day. I'm gonna do it, even if it's in my 60s. So never give up on your dreams.
That's awesome. Well, Punica, thank you so much. I love that final statement that you shared and such wisdom throughout the entire interview. To Hazel and Dowensly, and then also Xavier, thank you so much for doing a phenomenal job and asking those questions. So overall, thank you everybody, and I hope that everyone stays safe out there, all right? We'll see ya.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.